Okay, so welcome to Team Call. Today is Monday, March 4th. We're in the third month of the year. Cannot believe it. Like the end of the first quarter is among us. It's so crazy to me. I feel like just yesterday we were like, oh, it's 2019. And now we're like, oh my gosh, it's almost summer. But I have just a few announcements for you guys, all of which were talked about on the National Wake Up Call this morning, which was amazing if you haven't gotten a chance to go back and listen to it yet. And the first announcement actually deals specifically with the National Wake Up Call and our team call from last week, which is the fact that today the Ultimate Portion Fix launched for coaches. That's going to be FAQ 3564. Only coaches can purchase their packs today. I posted in our team page several times today about it, kind of sharing some things that I was sending out and that I was doing. And Farrell started a really cool thread for everybody to post under if you purchased your pack today. So be sure you do that if you've ordered your pack. If you need help picking a pack or if you're still kind of confused on things, please reach out to myself or your upline or post in our team page and let us know so that we can help. I will say that the team call last week, if you haven't gone back and listened to it, was more about specifically how to strategize using the Ultimate Portion Fix launch to grow your business, specifically some things that our team was doing as far as info groups are concerned and challenge groups and things like that. And then the National Wake Up Call this morning that was led by Autumn is more specific to kind of why she is recreating this portion, or not recreating the Portion Fix system, but kind of elaborating on it, if you will, with the Ultimate Portion Fix system and kind of the purpose behind it. So team call last week is more like resource tips and tricks on utilizing the launch to grow your business. And then National Wake Up Call this morning was more specifically why the Ultimate Portion Fix from Autumn herself. So be sure to check those out. Let us know what questions you have. The next announcement is for those of you going on the Success Club trip in 3 weeks, which I think is just Mallory. I had to forego my registration because I'm about to have a baby like any second, hopefully. And so actually the first day of the Success Club trip this year is actually a cruise. And the first day of the cruise is like literally 7 days to the day past our due date. So there's just like no way we can make that happen. So I think Mallory's the only one going, so Mallory, just FYI, your photo op opportunity to earn an exclusive photo op with Autumn, Joel, and Jericho, there are specific stipulations around, I think it's if you earn 20 or more Success Club points between certain days this month, you can earn a photo op with them. So that's FAQ 1545. And then the last announcement that I have is about the Success Starter program. If you're not familiar with the Success Starter program, I want you to check out FAQ 8100. And this is if you earn Success Club during your first 3 months as a coach, you not only earn a free ticket to Summit, but every month that you qualify for Success Club, you win like a little kind of extra perk thing. So be sure to check out that FAQ if you're not familiar with the Success Club program and you are a new coach. It's just kind of another incentive and reason as to why Success Club is so important for you to be consistently hitting every month. So, okay, now let's go into our content. I'm really pumped about tonight's team call just because it's kind of the kickstart of the kind of mini series that we're going to be doing over the course of March, which we're calling the month of the Vitals. We talked a little bit about this last week, how we just kind of feel like it doesn't matter where you're at in your business. The Vitals are so important to stay consistent with and to stick to. And when you kind of get to a point where you're feeling overwhelmed with training or a new launch, that it's just kind of hard. It's hard to stay really focused on just these really basic activities because we feel like we should be doing more or sharing more or whatever the case may be. And so I just kind of wanted to bring us back to the basics of this business with the hopes that whether you're a new coach or whether you've been coaching for 12 or 15 months, that this is just kind of a good refresher and a reminder as to how to kind of what we like to call stay in phase one and just do the basics of the business on the days that you feel really overwhelmed or that are really hard. So I don't have any slides or anything to share with you. I'm just going to kind of wing it a little bit. We will be having some different coaches on our team share over the course of the next 3 weeks. We'll be having, I don't have the list in front of me, but I think Mallory is doing what is she doing? Let's see. We have getting challengers results, which I think is coming from Sarah Crow. Farrell is doing personal development, and then Mallory will be doing connecting, inviting, and following up. So, which I think is next week. And then getting challengers results will be the next week. And then Farrell will round out the month of March with personal development, which are our 4 vital behaviors in case you're not familiar with them. But I kind of swooped up this vital behavior when we were divvying them out because I feel like the past year of my life has been such a true testimony to this specific vital behavior. And I'll share a little bit about that kind of towards the end after I go through some specific points that I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to give you guys like kind of 4 really tangible takeaways from this call. So hopefully by the end of this call, you can have these 4 bullet points written down, and it will kind of be a good synopsis / foundation of exactly what it means to be a product of the product and how being a product of the product really does grow your business. So one of the most common questions I get from ladies who are interested in coaching, but maybe, have some questions or aren't really sure if they're ready to kind of go all in with it is, can I be a Beachbody coach and not drink Shakeology? Or can I be a Beachbody coach and not do the workout programs? Yes, but you're probably not going to be very successful at it. I want you to think about what it was that attracted you to the coaching opportunity in the first place. I can almost guarantee you that it had something to do with our products or programs and how much you just grew to love them. Whether you were in a challenge group for 7 days before you made that commitment, or whether you just got your challenge pack in the mail and you're super excited about it, so you decided to sign up as a coach while you started your journey. More than likely, it has to do with our products and programs. So yes, you cannot drink Shakeology and you cannot do our programs and be a coach, but the chances of your having any success is probably going to be slim to none, because what we are is a product of our products. And that is what separates us from other network marketing companies and other health and fitness companies, is that to be a successful coach, you have to bleed Beachbody blue, right? And it is because we have so much confidence, passion, and faith in what we do as coaches and in our products and programs to share those with other people. So if you're taking notes, the first kind of what I feel like is like the first step in being a product of the product is to complete our programs from start to finish, right? You have to complete our programs from start to finish. Now, I totally understand, like, in between launches and in between, maybe program releases or in between your challenge group starting, there may be like a small period of time where you're kind of bouncing around or trying out different workouts or different programs to see what you like or what you want to do next. That is A-okay. That is like what you're supposed to do to find, where your heart needs to be for the next 21 or 30 or 60 days. But consistently, you need to be completing our programs from start to finish, following the workout calendar, drinking your Shakeology every day, following a nutrition plan, whether it's the 2B mindset or the portion fix or the soon-to-be ultimate portion fix system, using the performance line, eating the beach bars. It doesn't mean that you have to be perfect in your journey of completing these programs from start to finish, but you do have to put the work into your own journey. And like I said a second ago, think about what attracted you to Beachbody in the first place. I can guarantee you it had something to do with you having success with our products and or programs. And so that is kind of the first step in being a product of the product, is you have to complete our programs from start to finish. You have to prove that our products work. And your number one priority in this business, we talk about this over and over, is yourself and your own journey. And if you're not completing our programs from start to finish exactly how they were designed to be completed, then you're not really doing that. And aside from that, your transformation photos will be a game changer for your business. And for those of you that have had any kind of transformation with any of our programs, you know that that is 100% the truth. Any kind of transformation that you have, whether it's, physical or like a mental, emotional one or whatever, you having that transformation from completing our programs and being able to share that with other people is a game changer for your business, because people are going to see that what you're doing is working and they're going to start asking you questions. So that's number one, is completing our programs from start to finish and everything that encompasses, that is kind of involved in that. The second thing that I would say is kind of a really valuable piece of this being a product of the product puzzle is always being a challenger. And what I mean by that is consistently running groups, consistently being in some kind of challenge group, accountability group, whether it is one that your upline is running and you're being a challenger in that group, whether you're co-leading with your upline, whether you're just a coach in your upline's challenge group who has a couple challengers in there and you're not necessarily co-leading, whatever that looks like for you and your business and where you're at right now, you should always, always be a challenger. Not only should you consistently be running groups and being a part of groups, but you should be participating in your groups, right? Just because you're a coach in a group does not mean you don't participate. You need to be logging your workouts, logging your Shakeology, sharing your personal development, sharing recipes, sharing motivation and articles from the Team Beachbody blog and things that are going to speak life and motivation and inspiration into your challengers. It's the same thing. We're going to talk about kind of sharing your journey and staying consistent with that in just a second, but you have to share your journey inside your challenge groups too, right? Like your challengers, they've obviously built some kind of connection or relationship or formed some kind of trust with you to get into that challenge group. Something made them say yes to wanting to be a part of that group. So you need to be showing up every single day inside that group to remind them why they said yes, to help keep them going, because everybody needs that extra kind of kick and motivation in the beginning of their journey until they create that consistency and those new habits to keep going on their own, when that discipline and that consistency of showing up every day kind of kicks in for themselves. So show your challengers the impact that these programs have had on your life so that they will be motivated to want to experience the same thing. Basically, just lead by example in your group. So not only are you completing these programs from start to finish, but you're always being a challenger in your challenge groups, and you're running your groups back to back to back so that you always have something to invite to. The third kind of piece of this puzzle for me is sharing your journey. I oftentimes hear from coaches who are struggling with their social media. I don't know what to post. I don't know, what it is that I'm supposed to be sharing. And so they end up sharing just some like really cliche kind of invite to some kind of accountability group that nobody really knows what they're talking about because they haven't really been seeing them show up kind of thing. And you're not getting any traction from it. Here's the thing. You're not going to struggle with what to post and content and things like that if you just share how your life is being changed and why. So that is what people are going to be attracted to. That's what people are going to connect with. So stop focusing on selling a challenge pack to somebody and think about the why behind what them purchasing that challenge pack means. If you're doing steps 1 and 2, which is completing our programs from start to finish and always being a challenger, you should always have something to share on your page, something to invite to, and something to motivate people with. Even if that's just your accountability post every single day of the fact that you got your workout done, or if it's a couple clips of your workout that you share in your Instagram stories, or something from your personal development, or something that somebody in your group posted, or the fact that you had a group kick off today and that the ladies are crushing it and that they motivated you to work out, or whatever that looks like. If you're doing steps 1 and 2 of completing the programs from start to finish and always being a challenger and always running groups, then you should at least have something to be sharing on a daily basis. And that sharing is what is going to force people to realize that what you're doing is real. And we have this really overused cliche, but so true jargon of a kind of phrase that we say, which is, we don't sell, we share. Yes, we sell challenge packs. But if you focus on just sharing your journey, and then the 4th bullet point that we're going to talk about is being consistent with that, that is how you're going to force people to take notice of what it is that you're doing, even if it takes time. Which brings me to my 4th point, which is being consistent. So you're doing these programs, you're in these challenge groups, you're sharing your journey. You have to keep sharing your journey. You have to show up every single day in order for you to convince other people that you're going to be there to show up for them when they need you. We've talked about this before, that, a health and fitness journey is one that is hard, right? Like if it was easy, everybody would be healthy and we wouldn't have the obesity rates that we have. And, picking the salad over the pizza wouldn't be so challenging. But the fact of the matter is, a health and fitness journey is hard. And it's hard to make yourself a priority regardless of what phase of life you're in. And it's hard to make those good decisions. So trust is a huge component of somebody saying yes to you and somebody saying yes to wanting to be a part of what it is that you're doing. And this is how trust is built. Relationships are formed, and it's how you're going to get people to commit is literally by showing up every single day for yourself and sharing that with other people. You can't post about your shake or your sweaty selfie one time and expect people to want to be a part of what you're doing. You can't even do it for a week or even a month and expect people to want to join your challenge group. You may gain traction early on and in the beginning of your business, but the momentum won't last. And I see this time and time again with brand new coaches who will either share an initial transformation, or they'll post their workout selfie every day for a week or for 2 weeks, and people start asking like what it is that you're doing. But here's the thing, once that super warm market of those people who already know, like, and trust you, that follow your every move, once they know what it is that you're doing, and then you stop showing up, they're going to stop asking. And if you're not focusing on growing and expanding your market and your network, you're going to run out of people to talk to. So that momentum that you had that first week or two as a new coach, when you started showing up, you're going to lose that momentum. It's not even really momentum. It's just kind of like an initial like surge of people being like, oh, what the heck is this thing that you're doing? They get their questions answered and then they move on because you stop showing up. I can promise you that showing up today and every day benefits your business much further down the road than you could even possibly realize. Mallory, you have your hand up. Did you want to, chat box. Oh.
Cool. My dog is like really needing a lot of attention. And so she kept walking in front of my camera. No, I wanted to like let real life example of like exactly what you're saying. Like, I mentioned this on my coffee chat with my girls on Saturday, but if you missed it, and if you're not on my crew, Paige signed up to coach probably 4 or 5 months ago. And she's a Pilates instructor and she's going through like a new job, and she just got super, super crazy busy, and she was getting her workout done every day. But when we talked probably 6 weeks ago, she was like struggling. She's like, I can't get a success club point. I don't know what's going on. I'm doing my workouts. I'm doing this thing. And then when her and I hopped on a call and like together went through her Instagram, it was like, man, you are showing up consistently, but you're not showing up every day. Or you're showing up with your workout every day in your story most days, but like you're not showing up to talk about anything else but your workouts. So like we kind of came up with a plan, and she created this like schedule and she stuck to it. And this last week, I think I got a text from her on Friday night, and she was like, I just got the first cold lead person in my challenge group. Never talked to them before, didn't know them, knew them from social media. And it was like, because she had been so consistent, she showed up every single day. And like, I know you hear us talk about this, like consistency is like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear it again, but like, it's a real thing. And, there's a reason we talk about reaching out to new people every day. Like, had Paige not gone through all those behaviors for so long, like it's starting to pay off, and she's like, has half a dozen more conversations with those same type of people that she's happening. And she's like, okay, now I get it. Like now it's paying off, and like, it will happen. And, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm really proud of her for like sticking through it and like not necessarily seeing the instant results that she was hoping for, but she stuck it out anyways. And like, I swear it's just like, just keep going, that extra day or that extra week, because you just don't know at what point is the tipping point that somebody's finally going to reach out to you.
Yep. I love that example. That's such a good example. And I think for me, there's kind of twofold to that. I think the first thing is, the fact of showing up every day, like in general. And then the second thing is how you mentioned that she was like kind of sharing her workouts kind of sporadically, kind of consistently in her stories and stuff, but like that was it and nothing else. And I think that's so important as coaches, is that you're sharing all of this journey, right? Like, you really have to think about what coaching and here's the thing, our programs, the results that you get from our programs, I really hope they do more for you than just help you lose 5 to 15 pounds, right? Like, I hope that you experience some kind of like mental shift of whether it's the fact that you've learned how to make yourself a priority, or that you just feel more confident, or whatever. Like, if you stick to being a product of the product, your life will change in other ways besides physically. You have to share that part of your journey too. If you just throw up like on your feed or in your story, like, hey, I'm running a challenge group, I want you to be a part of it, but somebody doesn't feel like motivated or inspired by what it is that they've been watching you do because of those other pieces of the puzzle that you're sharing, the chances of them joining you are probably going to be slim to none. And if they know you're a Beachbody coach, guess what? All they have to do is go to teambeachbody.com, pay $99 for a year's worth of access to some workouts, and they don't care to be a part of your challenge group. They just want to work out at home. So, you know, there you go. And so I think that example that Mallory gave of Paige and kind of how she was showing up is a perfect example of kind of twofold. So just think, like, what kind of value can I share with other people on a regular, consistent, everyday basis? It kind of brings me to my last point. I'm going to recap these kind of 4 pieces of the puzzle really quick, and then I want to kind of close with an example. And then, of course, if there's any questions or anything, kind of my own personal example is what I wanted to close with. So the first step is completing our programs from start to finish. Number 2 is always being a challenger, consistently running groups. Number 3 is sharing your journey. And number 4 is doing all of those things consistently. And so my example of how I've been in this coaching role for, I don't know, I guess technically 3 years, but really working the business for like 2-ish years. And even after being a coach for that long, being a product of the product, the most basic vital behavior has impacted my business in more ways than probably anything else. Vital behavior wise, business wise, professional, personal development wise, anything. And I say that because I went, I should have done the math. I should have looked at like my numbers and stuff before the call, but you guys know that I'm super pregnant right now, and it's been kind of a challenging pregnancy for me, especially early on. I was really sick. I was like practically bedridden for 4 or 5 months. Working out was like not something that I could do. Like, and I couldn't even like share what I was eating because I could only eat like what I could stomach. And so like nobody wanted to see that either. And I was so miserable that I felt like I had no value or much less motivation. Like I was lacking motivation, which I was lacking discipline and consistency and everything during those couple months of my life. And it absolutely reflected in my business. I would go days. So for the first time since I started coaching, I would go days without sharing anything on social media. I would just disappear because I was like a hermit who was just trying to survive. As much of an excuse as it was, I could have found something to share, but it was just a really trying time for me. And so I went from consistently hitting Success Club 10, honestly there were months that I hardly ever hit below like Success Club 20 for months and months in a row. And I think I was on like my 14th month of Success Club 10. And in November of this past year while I was pregnant, I did not hit Success Club 10 for the first time in 14 months. And it was like devastating. But I knew why. I wasn't showing up. I would get these new followers and I would post about these. I never stopped running challenge groups, right? Like I ran challenge groups back to back to back, even though I couldn't really participate in them. I couldn't even drink my shake. I was so sick. But my new followers and the people who had been following me, like there was no proof that what I was doing was worth their time, right? Especially if they were new followers and hadn't been following me on my journey for a while, pre-pregnancy. And so I would post about a challenge group or I invite people, through a post once every couple weeks, and they would be like, I don't know what this challenge group thing is that she's talking about. Like, they wouldn't be interested in it. So because I wasn't able to show up and truly be a product of the product and share my journey and my experience with our products and programs. So that was in November. I hit Success Club 5, but not 10 for the first time in 14 months. And then in December, for the first time in 20 months, I did not hit Success Club 5. I missed Success Club for basically the first time since I decided that I really wanted to be a coach. And it was a little easier to get past this time because I had experienced November and I'd kind of come to terms with the fact that I knew why my business wasn't growing. It's because I wasn't showing up, right? Regardless of the reason, regardless of whether I had a valid excuse or not, it's still the perfect example as to how not showing up and not sharing your journey consistently directly correlates to how your business grows or does not grow. And although that's just Success Club, the lack of those Success Club points during the months of November and December for me, that's a direct reflection of the number of people I was not able to help those months, right? And that's a direct reflection of the number of people that were not only plugged into my challenge groups, but then in January and February, because I didn't have a lot of new challengers in my groups from November and December, that's a direct correlation to the lack of the number of new coaches I was able to sign in January. And so I just kind of wanted to use that example as somebody who has been a coach for longer than anybody else on this call, how not being a product of the product and doing these 4 things, being a product of the product and showing up and sharing consistently, how that impacts your business. And so I just want to encourage each and every one of you to use that example to kind of fuel your own fire, to continue following our programs from start to finish and staying engaged in challenge groups and sharing your journey publicly and finding and sharing value in your entire journey, and not just throwing up an invite to a challenge group every now and then when you want to, but staying focused on the steps that is going to get you to the point to where when you throw up that challenge group invite, people are going to want more information, right? Because they've been following you and they trust you and they see what you're doing, and you've shared a transformation photo and you're talking about the ladies in your current accountability group, and people will watch you transform over time as you complete these programs. And when they're ready to jump in, they will jump in and they will be ready, whether that's now, whether that's 6 months from now, or whether Mallory and I the past couple weeks have kind of been sharing a little bit about where our Success Club points are coming from. And I shared either last week or the week before. One of the examples that I shared was a girl who the first conversation we had was in August of 2017. And she ghosted me a few times, and I followed up with her a couple times, and she said she was going to purchase and join one of my groups a couple times, and then, life happened and whatever. And 3 or 4 weeks ago, she purchased a challenge pack. August of 2017. But she's been watching me over the course of the past year and a half, and she sees that I'm consistent in my journey and that I'm still showing up and I'm still doing the speech body thing and I'm still running these groups. And when the time was right for her, she decided to go all in and commit. And so you take that example, take the example of me missing Success Club 2 years into the business as an example, and take Mallory's example of Paige kind of checking herself and seeing, what she was sharing and where where this void was at, and her sharing her journey and her being a product of the product, and really reflect on how you're showing up every day for yourself first and foremost. Because if you don't show up for yourself, you ain't gonna have anything to share. And that's the fact of the matter. So always remember that you are your number one priority in this journey. And then those other couple bullet points that we talked about are just kind of subsequent to that and still really important. And guys, honestly, simple. All 4 of those things make you a better person, right? If you're being a product of the product, you're going to be a better person. And if you're sharing that with other people, the first time you get a message from somebody or a comment or whatever that says that you have inspired them or you've motivated them, that makes it all worth it. Not only are you experiencing a transformation, but knowing that you're impacting somebody else's journey, or that you have kind of kickstarted their motivation to want to get healthy, is a total game changer. I feel like I'm having a hard time finding the line of posting too much business stuff or not enough. So if you're referring to posting about coaching in general, I would just kind of find what I like to do is on Thursday, since Thursday is recognition day, I keep Thursdays to my posting about coaching kind of thing, unless I'm running a specific sneak peek or something. One thing that I don't believe is that you can talk about coaching and the business aspect of coaching too much in your stories. I think that you have to think about the fact that you're consistently getting new followers, or people are watching your stories maybe one day who haven't watched it the next. And so always having the fact that what you do is a business and that they can join you as a part of your stories is something that I feel like is really important. And I realized that just from following other coaches who talk about it in their stories on a daily basis. But as far as posting on your feed, you can throw a coaching line or an invite or something like that to the end of any post without having to make the entire post about coaching. Mallory does a really good job at speaking to the exact person that she's looking for as far as coaching is concerned. And I don't know, Mallory, do you have do you just do that once I try to stick to my coaching posts on Thursday just for because it coincides with recognition purposes, but do you have a specific kind of timeline or way in which you post about coaching?
I probably do something similar. I try and do it Thursday or Friday, just kind of depending on, this sounds so silly, but it depends on like if I've invited to a challenge group the day prior. I don't ever stack that back and forth. I don't like inviting to 2 things, 2 posts in a row. And then I'll usually do it. I'll do like a static post in my feed the week of my a coach sneak peek, and then I'll do another one, probably like an extra one, which I usually do on Thursdays intentionally because it is a recognition day, and then it's this day that I'm like shouting everyone out.
Yeah.
But then I will say I might do it, closing the door, sorry, it got open. I might do it an extra time if like you said, like I am very specific with how I word the post because I legitimately have a specific person in mind, either like somebody that's a challenger on my team or somebody that has asked me about coaching. Like I'm literally talking to that exact person that I'm like, we've had a conversation, we know, and we've probably had the conversation in the last couple of days. So if you see me posting about coaching, I am like after somebody to coach on our team.
I think the most important thing to kind of like round out your question is that if you're, people should always know that what you're doing is something they can be a part of, period. Like they should be able to go to your feed and watch your stories and know that what you're doing is something that they can be a part of. So whether that is an entire post about inviting them to a coaching sneak peek, or like Mallory said, she might throw in an extra one every now and then. Or like with the Ultimate Portion Fix launch, if you made a post about that today, you totally could have threw in there, and I did it on my stories. You could throw in there that like, if you've ever thought about being a coach, like you can get early access to this new Ultimate Portion Fix launch today instead of waiting till the 18th. Like your whole post doesn't have to be about coaching, but letting people know that the invitation is always there is something that I think is really important so that you do attract coaches to your page. Yes, I would just create a posting calendar for sure. Like every, even, and then you can kind of fill in the gaps with kind of what comes up, as you go. But having like a set kind of thing that you talk about every day is something that can prove to be super helpful for sure.
I will say too, like one other thing, because Teresa, like we have like a group thing happening. I don't know if you heard them screaming, but they're in so much trouble. Oh my God. Losing my mind right now. We have a brunch as a team this weekend, and like I think we use this for every Super Saturday or every summit. Like I use all of those pictures and like the thoughts and the conversations we have, which happens to like land on like Throwback Thursday to when I was with my coaches this weekend, but like using it as like natural fodder. And in the not national wake up call, in the Beachbody Champions page, there was a really good example, and I'll find it and post it in our page, of how one of these like elite coaches invites to her business. And she was even saying like, it is like, she's just sharing, like she's sharing the lifestyle. So like sharing a picture of you and your crew, like this is the life I lead because these are the people I want to surround myself with. Like, and then you're not necessarily asking them all the time. 90% of the time you're just sharing with them what you're doing and like how you're connecting, and then inviting them on the days you have a sneak peek. Bless you.
Thank you. Did I mute my microphone? You just saw me? Okay, good. I was like, oh, I thought I didn't mute. Okay, perfect. I don't see any more questions in the comments. So if you're watching this back and you have questions, post below this recording. Or if you think of anything, if you're working on a posting calendar and you want some advice from the team or from your upline, be sure to post it or send it to whoever your upline is, and we are more than happy to help for sure. I want you guys to really utilize this Ultimate Portion Fix launch as a way for you to be product of the product, and share about it. I shared several things in our team page today as to kind of some things that I was kind of working on and doing with that. But get creative. Let us know what questions you have. That's what we're here for. But it's a really good opportunity for you to be a part of the product, is to utilize it.
I have one more question. There is a coach exclusive test group for this too, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the coach test group that like automatically if you do the certification, you automatically get 30 days of access to like the master series training. And then if you opt in for the master series, you'll continue past the 30 days with Autumn's group kind of thing. So yeah. And you can totally utilize the fact that you're in an exclusive coach test group with Autumn to like push people to want to be in that with you as a coach. So whether they're a discount coach or whatever. All right, guys, so I hope you have a great rest of your Monday evening. If you are the praying kind or the thinking of kind, please pray that I have this baby like yesterday. I'm really tired of being pregnant. But other than that, I will post this recording on the team page tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, guys.